Hey, you guys, I wanted to come on here and share something with you that I came to the realization of this morning, and I really need you to focus on this because when you see this, you're going to understand something in relation to why a lot of people and creatives deal with burnout, financial roadblocks, confusion, a lot of this. And I'm going to show you a few things that you did not know, and it may help you understand why creatives be dealing with these financial things. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line right here through the paper. Imagine that was perfectly straight. Now, what a lot of people do when they become a creator or want to become something, they desire to set a number, a goal. This is what I want to reach. This is where I want to go. This is what I desire. And I keep seeing the same thing happen over and over and over again. And I used to sit there and wonder, well, why is that? Why that is? I'm about to show you why that is. And I'm going to need you to follow me along on this little journey, okay? Number one, you see these little rings at the top of my book? I'm going to use that as an example. A lot of people will come into these creative journeys and they'll be like, I want so much money. I want to become a multi-millionaire. Why? Number one, y'all are suffering from placebo effect. Why are you suffering from placebo effect? Because you probably seen about 150 gurus, 150 social media people, 150 of these people online say, I made $1 million. I made $5 million. I made $10 million in a year. I made $55 million. And you say, oh, you made all that money? I want to make some millions of money too. What do I got to do to make millions of money? And some of you are in impoverished poverty situations. Some of you just try and get out of your financial hole. But this person said, wow, I made $1 million, $5 million, $10 million, $15 million, 70, whatever $1 million that they made. And you see that number, whatever that number is. I'm going to use this number because this was the number that came up in my head this morning. $17 million. Okay. That's good. We good. We like that number. Sound really nice, don't it? $17 million. Now, I need you to imagine yourself as a runner. Okay? I need you to think real hard about this being a runner. And you're just not one runner. You're a marathon runner. Okay? That sounds pretty. That sounds nice. That sounds Olympic level. We used to see the triathlons all the time run across our TV screens once a year, right? Everybody love that. We see the races. We see the Olympic runners, right? The bikers and the runners and the 100-meter dash and all of this. And they look cool and they look nice, right? All that looks nice. Even the swimmers. Think about the swimmers too in that, because triathlon is the runners, the bikers, and the swimmers. Okay? All right. Well, guess what? When you're desiring to start a business, whatever it is, number one, I'm going to tell you what most people do that screws themselves up in getting anywhere. I'm telling you, most people. I'm talking about from your toppest celebrities to the low people that's over here in poverty. Like, I want to be that person that made $1 million in whatever period of time from rags to riches. What do I gotta do? And they all tell you, Every guru that you listen to will tell you you can turn whatever it is that you're passionate into a multi-million-dollar business, right? We're going to have a serious conversation here. This is a serious conversation. I need you to sit back, relax, because this is going to be serious. They're not lying to you that you can't. You're lying to you. Huh? You're lying to you. Because 9 times out of 10, when you see whatever it is that you need, or you see that they made this big amount of money, you're like, if I had that amount of money, I could live freely, I could live comfortably, I could be okay, I could blah, blah, blah. Right? Right. So, you're sitting there thinking to yourself, I'm going to do whatever I can. But let's go back to that runner. Can a runner just start off at a marathon right out the gate? Can they sign up for a marathon today and get there and be running that race tomorrow? Answer, no, never, absolutely not. I remember when I first started my journey into thinking about doing business, one of the first things I did was I picked up a book at a library, and it just happened to so be on the table because I used to sit a lot of times at the library and just think and work on stuff and read and stuff. It was on the table, and it was talking about being a runner. This book went into in-depth elements of what a marathon runner, through charts, systems, and all these things that this marathon runner had to do in order to prepare their body to be able to run a race. See, you're sitting there thinking, I'm going to make millions of dollars. Look. I'm going to make $17 million. See that? I'm going to make that much money. You ain't even stretched yet. You signed up for your marathon tomorrow. What's wrong with you? I'm serious. What's wrong with you? You can't do it. You can't do it. I'm even going to give you this. I'm going to give you this. Watch this. You're going to sit here and you're going to, if you were to stretch this over a 8-year period, and some of you are whining because I just said 8 years. 8 years. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. See that? And some of you would say, all right, and I'm going to show you something. You're even going to do it this way. Let's see. Let's start from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. You're going to divide yourself, and you're going to think that's a good idea. 16 division. I'm going to explain why I'm doing this way in a minute. 16 points. What is a division of 17 million divided by 16? I'm going to tell you what it is right now, because guess what? I calculated it before we got on here. That's 1,060,500. Now, I know that looked like a lot of money. But that's going to go under each one of these pillars. But I need to explain something to you. You're on year 0. And guess what? On year 0, you. That's you. See you. That's you. That's you. You're on year 0. Right there. That's you. And you by yourself. See you by yourself. That's you. See you with your head. That's you by yourself. What are you going to want to do? Well, you're going to sit there and you're going to say, in year 1, you're going to go and you're going to make this amount. You're thinking. Then in year 2, you're going to double it. In year 3, you know my compound interest is year 4, year 5, 6, 7, and then the top year, which is 16. So each year you're going up. But recognize, you see what you're looking at when you look at this? You're looking at one person standing down at this bottom port and all of that. And then I need you to look at this number-wise. If every year you start off year 1 at this amount, that means in year 2, you got to do this amount. That's what you got to do in year 2. And each year that number is going to double. Okay? But I need you to also think about this. You are standing by a table. Or at least you're trying to create one. So in year 1, let's say your table has one leg. What table you know gonna stand good on one leg? And I'm serious about that. What table you know gonna stand real good on one leg? I'm trying to get the camera to focus because it's not focusing on my tape. Lens cleaning is amazing. So you got the table. That's that first year. But where, you know, most tables that are made like that, they usually have this at the bottom. For extra spokes. But hey, look at you. You, and look like you got 3 legs. But you down here at the bottom, but you got 2. You got 2. They hold you up pretty well. But can you hold a 1-ton flat level? Because that's what you be trying to hold if you was trying to hold this whole line for this $17 million, okay? I need you to follow me. Because when I got this revelation this morning, I was like, oh my God. Most people on level 1, they be trying to hold that table. And that table don't got these legs. I should have wrote it in red. Hold on, let me get some red. See, the table ain't got no legs. It's just got that T. What's going to happen to that table on that first year if it's just trying to make that amount of money? I'm going to show you what's going to happen to it. And I'm going to do it in red even. That table going to be sitting there like that. Just like that. Tipped over. Why? Because that table is trying to hold a line that it can't carry. Hold on. It's trying to hold a line that it can't carry. What do I mean? That's like this little person over here. You see the person with the head and the body and the stick legs. And yeah, this is it. But guess what? It's got a level over its head that's that wide. Why? Because it's trying to hold the whole 17 million on its head with the dollars on level 1. Because it's trying to get up there. It want to be up there. It won't be up there with the 17 million. But the weight of trying to carry it, even thinking about carrying it. You ever seen a person that's thinking about something that's weighing heavy on them? That's what money will do to you if you just gonna sit there and wait on. Even if it wasn't the 17 million, it was just the dividend of that one. Why? Now they only holding this over their head. Just this. You know what automatically happens? Because they're like, I gotta get to that million in that 1 year. Is it possible? Absolutely. But they gotta figure out how to divide that. Hold on, let me see. This right here. Oop. I done took it off. That number that you just saw there, it was 88,000. I'll do it again. Hold on. That's the amount of money that you would have to make per month. Now you would look at that number and be like, oh, that's reasonable. That's reasonable, right? To you look at that, that's reasonable. Was you making that much in 1 year? You wasn't making that much in a year. And you think it's reasonable. Even to you, that's going to be a level. I'm serious. To run. So you know what you're going to do? You're going to start spinning wheels. You ever seen a person on a hamster wheel? They just start. See said person. Woo! They got 1 foot forward. They got 1 foot backward. They got 1. And they just start rolling around that wheel. They're going to start rolling on that hamster wheel. And they're going to be like, I got to get it. I got to get that money. I got to get that money. I got to get that money. And you know what happens? When they start, whatever it is that they call a business that they doing, you know what they end up doing? Transactional business. Because their only consideration is, I got to make this amount of money per month. And that's transactional business. Everybody gets caught up in it. I know nobody else that they don't get caught up in trying to meet their goal, whatever that is. That gets caught up in this daggone transactional business. But you have forgotten something very key before you started this whole process. You want to know what that very key thing is that you forgot? You're dealing with people. 9 times out of 10, if you're going to build anything, you're building it on the back of one of 2 things. And I'm going to do it right down here because that's easiest. The one thing is you are creating products. And the second thing is you are serving people. What most people do, and I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to be real with you. Hear that wonderful siren? It's a red alert. It's warning you. It's trying to tell you something. Most people do this incorrectly. You want to know why? Because 95% of you are self-loving and totally into self. So you know what you do? You create a brand with your own daggone face on it. Everything about it reads, "This is about me. Let me go take all of the photo shoots. Let me go do all of this. I'm going to go be that blogger that has me in every photo. This is just going to be, it's all about me, boo. Let me do me, boo. I'm going to be me, boo. Boo." Why? Because I'm going to be that person, just like that other person that made that $1 million and that $17 million. It's going to be me, boo. I'm going to be the next Harmosi. I'm going to be the next. I'm going to be that next multi-million. And it's going to be my face, and I'm going to be up here in all these suits, and I'm going to look gorgeous. Gorgeous. Because I built it on me. Let me tell you something. Then you go run to them daggone gurus that sit up there and say, "I'm going to run a what? I need to make $1 million in a year, so I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to a guru, and said guru is going to teach me how to create a $100,000 high ticket program. So I can get to this." Because remember, we trying to get to this. But you're thinking, I got to get to that $100,000 in what? 1 month. Because $88,000 is only a hop, skip, and a jump. That's $12,000 from 100. That's all. That's it. Actually, it's 11. Because remember, you got this change over here. So I'm going to make me a hot ticket program. What is my skills? What is my skill set? What do I love to do? Cool. What is it? And you sit there and you're going to sit there and you're going to list out all the things that you love to do. Shoot, you're going to list some of the stuff you don't even like to do. Why? Because you got to think of your products and your services, right? So let's come back over here to this dude. This one little dude over here. See him? I don't know why my camera don't want to focus on him. Yeah. Here's the one little dude. Let's go back to the table. Remember the one table you can't. So next season, you like, I'm going to come up with, I'm going to do 2 legs. How can if you plan to do a 2 leg, let's talk about this 2 legs right over here. You standing here and you trying to figure out, I'm going to do 2 legs. Now remember, you ain't even got 1 leg good. So you trying to hold up 2 legs badly under a table. There's only one thing I've ever seen that work right with that. Anybody know? I'll give you one guess. An ironing board. That's the only thing that has 2 legs like that. And it has, if you don't notice, an ironing board has that, and then it has 2 little joists right there to support them 2 legs. And it has a line that goes across on the bottom to support it at the bottom too. You ain't got that. You just got you. And that would be second year where you're trying to make how much? That's going to be on your second year. You can't barely hold that up. See how you can't barely hold that up? Why? Because you ran out the gate trying to transactionally operate in what you're doing. You run on a hamster wheel. And you call yourself, I'm going to do that high ticket program. And if you make it to year 2, you were sitting up there running, trying to charge double. And remember, in order to do that, you're trying to do that in a month. Not a year. Even high ticket people don't even do that in a year. High ticket people will not try to do that in 1 month unless they really got it like that. And let me tell you something about high ticket people. Them hot ticket people that'll sit up there and tell you go do that. All they doing is reselling the same stuff that they were selling on level 1. They just make it look real good on level 8. Now, can I sober you up a little bit? You haven't figured out what your product and your service is and all that. Maybe you did. You figured out what your product and what your service is. Most people, they build it out wrong. Because some of them sit up there and they figure out, yeah, I'm going to do this. And I mean, you could have made a decision that you wanted to do this amount of money in 8 years. Most people don't because they overzealous and they want at least $1 million. Because they want that in a year. A lot of people want at least $1 million in a year. So they aim for at least $1 million in a year. But they start operating transactionally. And then they do it wrong. What I just say? They base the business on themselves. And then they trying to hold the thing up like this. Maybe they got 2 topics and they're trying to double juggle because everybody's not a niche downer. Okay? They're trying to double juggle and they try to figure out how to do that. But then you have to figure out if you got this number, that's your monthly goal, you got to divide what you're good at into products and services, which each one has to have its own numeric value. And you got to meet that numeric value in a month. Transactional business. And you know what you forgot about? Let me tell you what you forgot about in that. See little person over here? We're going to call each of these little people. So you forgot about 2 little people over here. One's you and one's your customer. Yep. One's you, one's your customer. And you forgot about both of them. You are a person that has to hold up the legs to this thing. And you forgot about your customer. Whoever it is that you plan to what? Serve. Because you start running the transactional hamster wheel because you start trying to figure things out. Why? Because you're trying to make your goal, boo. I gotta go. Which means the person down here that's being crushed under the weight of it, which is you, don't matter. Your customer, who's standing over there, they don't matter either. I don't know why it won't focus. Yeah. You don't forgot about these 2 people. So what normally happens is you see that you went from being the one person with one thing and then you tried to run and you were like, oh my God, you didn't make it in that first year. So now I'm going to add the second weight on top of me in the 3rd year or in the 2nd year. So now you're trying to double up because you missed last year. So because you're like, I didn't make it because I didn't. But you didn't start with the foundation. You don't go running a marathon day 1. Didn't I tell you that? What you do? You stretch. You start to train your body to be able to run that. You start to train the body to be able to keep up with that. Meanwhile, you're determining what your products and services look like. I remember hearing from what's her name? Lisa Nichols years ago. She said when you start a business, you should always start it with a 9-month out ideal. Meaning you should be testing, developing, seeing if that thing's working, and then put it out there for a 90-day run at that last 90 days, just like you were birthing a child. And in that 9 months, see where it is. So how you gonna start Mr. Zero over here trying to hold up yourself, and then you start to panic because you didn't make that first amount of money. You didn't make it in that first year because you over here doing this. Yes, you're on a hamster wheel and you're running. Why? Because you didn't take that time to do a quarterly inventory of yourself and spend that first year setting things up and not trying to hit that first goal. That's why I always tell you, get used to and accustomed to what it is that you're trying to do before you even say. This is why I say take about 3 months, figure out whether you like what it is that you're talking about, because if you start putting money to it, you're going to do what? Run on the wheel, run on the wheel. You gonna be out here running on this wheel. What? Yes. You gonna be out here running on this wheel. And even an iron board with 2 things can't hold up. And then you're gonna sit up there, and this is what happens to most people, because they figure out what they're good at. I'm good at this, I'm good at this, I'm good at this, I'm good at this. I'm telling you, some of the people that they try to jump themselves out there and try to be gurus, and they trained and they learned them under everybody because they were sitting up there trying to make that high ticket program. So I got to do what the gurus do, because I'm trying to make that guru money. So I listened to what the gurus told me to do. I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to do that. And every year that passes, they start adding on to themselves, because see, they never made it past that first year, so they added 2. If you didn't make it past 1, why did you add 2? If you didn't make it past 2, why you add 4? But I'm gonna play with the 4 in a second. Let's play with the 4, okay? Any good table that is made, let's talk about it down here. Any good table that's made, it's got 4 legs. So you on year 3, you trying to get this 4 yet? 4. Yes. But see, you don't have your legs distributed right. Because you probably got your legs distributed just like that. What am I saying? Come on, let's talk about it. You are standing right here, and you got your legs. That's you. With trying to hold this table up, but you got your legs like this. Like a pyramid. And you trying to balance that thing. That's what you're trying to do. You're just trying to hold it up with the 4 legs. Because you understand that you got 4 topics. You understand that I'm going to do what they tell me to do. I'm going to create a level, and then I'm going to have some subtopics, and I have some subtopics. Boom! I got that. It's me. It's level 1. Then I got my 2 subtopics, and I got my 4 topics. Boom! I can be at. Hold on. What's my level 4 amount? Yeah, that's year 3. I'm gonna have my 4,242 million dollars, because I got a table with 4 legs that's barely holding itself up, because I'm holding it up. And he just clicking with you, and he just trying, and any of it making any sense. And then you got these folks sitting up there having conniption fits because they managed to figure out how to make the money in the amount of years. Let's say they did it in 4 years or so. Because I know one guru, she had a conniption. She completely had a full-on breakdown and disbanded her entire business after she had made it too. And when I say she was doing all of the things, she had all 6 things. What I mean, she had all 6 things. Hold on, let me express the 6 things. Let's see. She had a course. She had one-on-one calls. She had a master program. She had an actual academy. She had a team. And she had something else. It was something else that she was working on. She was doing the conferences and the events, and she looked like she had it all together, and she was making the money. And she sat up there and disbanded the whole daggone thing. Why? Because she was dealing with a 6-leg table that was looking like this. Yep, she had a 6-leg table that was looking just like that. And there's a video clip of her crying somewhere. It's a video tape of her crying somewhere. I had somebody that was trying to teach me at one point, and this individual was always talking about how much money that they made in a period of time, and they even did their divisional breakdowns on what it was that was their goal. But they also at some particular point made it a goal for themselves to make it somewhere around that amount of money in 1 year, maybe without the extra $60,500 was their goal for 1 year. Okay, for 1 year. Didn't make it. Didn't make it. They started off strong. They even at one point in a period of time had made that amount of money. But guess what? When they made that amount of money, they began at some point to start to do this. You see what's happening? And you know what happens when you start doing that? You know what was crushing about this table? Let me get back to that table. You want to know what's crushing about this table? The fact of the matter is you stop engaging people in communication, and you stop dealing with people like they real human beings. What you mean? Why? Because you listening to the what? High ticket gurus. It's trying to get you to what? Up there. But you still got to get from these numbers all the way through these numbers to get up to that number. And it wears you out because you're trying to balance all that stuff over here. You see how I'm talking? Am I making sense here? Am I making sense? Am I not talking? I hope I'm not talking to myself. So you sit up there and you try to manage. You even sit there and you figure out how to go through, and you got all of the products and services, but you built that thing on you. Notice, you at the bottom of this major pyramid. How can this one leg can't hold no table up, boo? That's what the table gonna do. One leg can't hold no table up. Table. You. Big vision. transactional business. See how that works? Because you forget about the two most important people. You and who you're serving. Because you make it all about you. I even see people, and I'm going to tell you this even this much. This is why I be warning y'all. I see people sit up there and get caught up in the price going up mentality. The price going up. The price going up. You can't handle this price. Why are you going to bring it up to that price? Why are you going to add more to this? Why are you going to try to do all that? Why are you trying to crush yourself? What are you doing? What are you doing? Crush. Crush. You see that? Crush. Crush. Why? Because you over here like this. Falling over. Because the table done fell over. Why did the table fall over? Because you're sitting up there trying to build, thinking that because I built it on levels and this. So you keep adding. Notice, every level you added something else to it. Each level goes up and you add more and you add more. And it makes sense because you're supposed to add a little bit more each time in order to meet your goal. But you do it too soon. And not only that, you add it incorrectly. Let me tell you something about service-based business. Okay, if you say that you're going to serve somebody, anybody out here trying to be coaches, one-on-one callers, all of these types of people, you trying to meet somebody's needs. I don't care if you trying to make, you're a body butter creator and you trying to do one-on-one calls with people that are trying to sell body butters just like you're trying to sell body butters or sell them into your program or sell them into your thing. You're doing t-shirts, you're doing this, you're doing that. Whatever it is that's your thing that you're doing. What a lot of people will do because it sounds cute is that they're going to go and they're going to create a product, an ebook, a this, a that. That was what I forgot over here. I forgot to add ebook in these. Yeah. Having an ebook, having a course, having a workbook, having all of this kind of stuff. Because that's what the gurus tell you to do, boo. In order to keep adding stuff so that you can feel good about having that range. But you're going to sit up there and you're going to realize something. In order to serve an accountable amount of people, even if you just did it to the point of being able to make that in 1 year to make this. Remember, $100,000 hot ticket program, you can't do that and be manageable because most of y'all can't manage 3 people as clients. Because you try to sit up there and do $300,000 high ticket programs. But your content isn't worth $300,000. And let me come back to that table over here. Hey, that don't have good legs on it. Why? Because you chasing something that you can't maintain. Why? Because you don't know how to balance the table. Why? Because you're not thinking about you and the fact that when you're serving people, you got to be available to serve them. So you'll sit there and you'll create the course and you'll develop the thing and you'll create the webinar about the course and you'll do all of that because that's what the high ticket gurus tell you to do. And then you'll be sitting there saying, I should have this amount of money, and you still don't. Why? Because you can't even manage in each of these individual pillars because you're on a table that looks like this. You don't get it. You're not working with this table. You're under this table. You still holding this table up by yourself. I'll hire a team. And then you panic, hire a team, and you haven't even vetted them folks. I have a podcast on vet your team. Vet. It's a 2-parter, I think, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's one. It's just on 2 different platforms. Vet the daggone team. if you're going to hire a team, but you can't even afford to hire a team because you're still trying to hold this thing up. And if you left to go try to, boy, and you can't community build because you know what you would need to do on a real tip? You would need to, if you starting at zero, 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 you would actually need to actually create a community. Let me put that over here. Community. And you would have to serve that community nonstop for what? 3 to 6 months. Then you would also need to, if you're a word of mouth person, you're gonna have to go out in the street to them conferences and meet people. Some of y'all are introverts like nobody's business. You don't want to be around people. You don't want to know people. You don't want to understand people. You don't. This is why y'all transactional running on a wheel. Because you ain't got time, especially if you trying to hold the legs of the table up. You can't hold the legs of the table up and engage people. You cannot hold the legs of the table up and be over here talking to people. You standing there just like this person with the holding these 2 legs up while your person's over there like, hey, you wanted to talk to me? So you go and you create a service where you're supposed to be serving people, but you're too busy trying to what? Hold the table legs up. What ends up happening is people start wanting to do one-on-one calls and all of this kind of stuff. And you're like, I done created a table and I'm going to do, it's me. Then I'm going to do my signature program. And then I'm going to do my one-on-one calls. I'm going to sell people into my signature program, but I'm still over here thinking I'm going to sell it for $100,000. And you have not vetted your information yet to even know whether it's worth that amount of money. Let me tell you something. This is the most important part that you need to hear. Hear me. Hear me. Person holding up 4 legs. Badly. What you need to understand is the fact that people get up here and get caught up in the price going up. See that price going up? The price going up. The price going up. It's back here on the, I'ma do me. I'm going to bring the price up. I'ma bring the price up. Let's bring the price up. Why are you going to bring the price up when you can't hold these legs up by yourself? 2 legs, can't hold it up. 1 leg, you couldn't hold it up. Tipped over. 4 legs, can't even really do that well. I gotta bring the price up. I know my worth. Let me explain something to you about this model right here. Okay? Listen, hear me. Hear me. When you hear me right here, I'm about to break open a belief system that's been limiting you and make you think that you failing for all this time. Are you ready? I need you to breathe. When it was brought to my realization, my brain just nearly exploded. But when I looked at it in relation to this kind of a chart, I was like, oh my God. That's why. Gurus will tell you, the ones that try to make you get that hot ticket program and got you sitting up here on this spinning wheel because you're trying to transactionally do business. They'll sit up there and tell you you've got to raise the price, bring the price up, get that price up to that price. And you know what? The people that you're serving or you need to serve can see right through that. And are you ready? Are you ready? You ready for the realization? You are building, and it's a perfect diagram right there. You're sitting there building on top of you. You ready for the revelation? Here it is. Your identity and your worth is not attached to money. Because what you just did over here, you just build your identity on top of money. And you see this table over here? That's what you're doing. Falling over. A ugly little mess over here. You see that ugly little mess over there? Yup. That's you. With this table. Looking like a tore up murder scene. Because you sat up there and forgot about these two things. Which is most important. Community building. Conferences. Because you over here. On this hamster wheel. Now I'm going to say it again so you can understand. You sat there and you built everything you had, believing your identity was attached to that financial figure. When you didn't reach that financial figure and this ugly red table fell over, you sat there and thought you was a failure. Your identity is attached to money. This is why you try to keep bringing prices up. And this is why you created a absorbent amount of money that you wanted to reach. Because you're like, I can do $1 million in a year because all I have to do is situate myself to be able to meet this entire grid. But you're the one thing at the center of said grid. Hi, you. And you keep building. All you're going to do is keep building legs that are pointed. And you see all of the points are coming towards your head. Why? Because you got to hold your daggone head up in order to hold this thing up. It's crushing your head. Your head's what's holding this up. Your brain. What you're building. You. And you would just keep on adding legs. But it's central built because it's built on your center. You being the center. The whole thing would fall over if you were not holding it up. You became that middle leg. You are holding that table up. It's not holding itself up. That is not a table spoke. That is you. That's you. That's what's holding that table up. So if anything happens to little old you, remove you from that equation, whole table built on top of you gonna fall over. This is how that woman that created that large amount of a business had to divest and do all of that. Why? Because it was built on top of little old her. Every business owner that I've talked to, dealt with, had an intimate conversation with from a high level standpoint. They were over there getting crushed because they were sitting up there trying to build this wonderful model over here and doing it this way. Whether they were doing it or they weren't doing it. I'm talking about even Christians who do this. Why? Because I was listening to another guru who actually is a pastor who's literally teaching about the expansion of multiplication and multiplying your assets to multiply per level to expand your money level per level for whatever it was that you wanted, which was your core value, which was your top value median number, blah, blah, blah. So a pastor do it. And I'm sitting to be like, this is the problem. People keep attaching their identity to these numbers. I'm going to need you to separate your worth and your identity away from this, or you're going to keep ending up, come on, like this. Hi, you standing underneath a table with all this money on top of it, and it's crushing you, and you're planning to build the table to look like that, and it's crushing you. Why? Because you have the wrong mindset. Why? Because you got a root system that you didn't even deal with. Because even a marathon runner, before they start running a marathon, have to deal with the mindset of understanding that they got to treat their body like something different than what they're used to and get past the point of running like a normal average person. They're running like a marathon runner. No more jogging like you were if you was just going out. And What's the problem with that? All right, I'm going to show you what the problem with that is. Hi, you. This is you. Again, this is you. Legs. Hey, I'm reaching towards my money goals. That's my money goals. But you are standing with a whole bunch of ugly roots up under you that are holding you in place, that with all of these money roots up under you, they're holding you. That's why you keep building tables that look like this and not like this. Huh? Yeah, that's what you're doing. You keep building tables that look like this and they keep doing this. Why? Because you are building your identity on all that money. I just got to make the money. And then I will have proved that I am worth it and worthy. And it's crushing you. Ah, remember this table that's crushing the individual because it ain't got no legs under it? And this table that is literally built on top of your head. I've seen a lot of people just go up and quit. I was listening to a story the other day, which really was the base that led me to coming here in the first place to even have this discussion with y'all at all. Is I was listening to a person where they had built a product. Number one, they came up with a product and a service, but they were trying to build it all on one product. No. And they were sitting up there, they kept hiking the price in order to serve the community, because what they were trying to do is do transactional to meet that high ticket number. So they kept increasing the price and increasing the price. And they were screwing themselves over because they couldn't handle the weight. So when they started to have multiple clients and their clientele started to multiply like that, and they kept upping the price because they were trying to reach a what? Goal. May not have been that much, but they were trying to reach a goal. So what they ended up doing is when they ended up with too many clients, they turned and they added on people to create a what? Team. So they had a team, and said team was handling and managing the phone calls, but guess what? Still sitting up under a table like this. Because their team was serving. But they built their business on top of themselves, and they could not maintain the what? Community. And the table was doing dot. And here they are, hamster wheeling it, trying to do hot ticket. Okay? So let's get back to this money and the money roots. This is that person that they're reaching for that. But they got all this that's holding them down underneath the ground and holding their shoes in place. They can't climb. And everything they build looks like this, does that, or does that. Why? Because they got these ugly little roots underneath their feet. What are those ugly little roots? Let's talk about them. Let's see. My father, mother, money burned a hole in their pocket. That's a root. In one day, out the other. Rob Peter. Rob Peter to pay Paul. Let me repeat that. Rob Peter to pay Paul. You get where I'm going with this, y'all? All them roots up under there, but you still trying to chase after. And then you still got this. And it's doing what? You standing here. You trying to make that. You trying to bridge it over this. You're over here. Running around in circles. Because you trying to do this. And you look more like this. Because you've secretly, unknowingly got this up under you. They blocking you. They preventing you from moving. And I'm going to give you a biblical explanation. Hey, we kingdom creator, and you're going to get this Jesus. Come on, let me get you this Jesus. You ready for the Jesus? Okay. Jesus is going to tell you this. There's a scripture in the Bible, I believe it's Romans 12:14, that there's a sycamore tree. Let me explain to you what a sycamore tree is. Sycamore tree is a root system that is so gnarly, so ugly. Go look up one of these trees. These trees is ugly. And it's got a root system up under it. It is the only thing that can grow in dry places. This sucker can grow in dryness. That's why you dry in it. It looks like ugly cracked skin, don't it? Ugly, crack, dry. Roots. Try to hold you down through all of the root systems of the money habits that your parents and your parents' parents and your cousins and your little sisters and all of this, the people that you hang around. This is why most rich people can't hang around the people that they hung around when they were growing up. Why? Because most of them were poor. It was that one rich friend, that one family member, that one person that either it was a mentor or somebody that they followed or somebody that they looked up to or somebody that they watched on television or somebody that was a guru with hot ticket programs or whatever it is. They saw themselves in that person. They said, I can be that person, but they still got this root system. See that little root system? And everybody likes to skim over. Oh, you got to change your mindset. Yeah, you got to change your mindset. But there's another little itty bitty problem that you're not dealing with. Are you ready to deal with the problem that you're not dealing with? I'm going to need you to breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. You're not dealing with your spiritual centerpiece. What's your spiritual centerpiece? And this is where I introduce you to the harmony chart. There is a harmony to the way that your life is supposed to run. Think of it like this. What's your center? See, a lot of people will sit up there and try to build their center on that, which leaves them looking like this, which leaves them like this. And then they standing there looking like that. I don't know why. There you go. You're looking like that. Because they still got a whole bunch of this up under them. And they have no central focus. I've heard celebrities say it. I've heard regular people say it. I've heard people that were trying to build a multi-million-dollar business say it. They ain't got no center. And the ones that were being successful, oh, they had a center, but what were they serving? To my godly people over here, I'm talking to you. You're supposed to be over here serving who? G-O-D. That's who your center is. Next to that, who are the 5 closest people to you? Is it your spouse? Is it your kids? Then, outside of that, who's helping you build? Remember, we talked about the team of people. That's the team. So you got your team. And then you got your friendships. Oh, and in this godly circle, you need to be talking about your own self-care. Because a lot of people will sit up there and build like this. and ain't taking care of themselves, and guess what? Crushed under said weight of said number, because they ain't taking care of themselves, because they don't know when to have this. And if you follow God, you have to have friends that follow your God. You have to have a spouse follows your God. Friendships follow your God. You got to have prayer partners following your God. Why? Because if you ain't got people that are covering you and following your God, how are you going to continue to maintain if you have an open door to the enemy? And it's just swinging open, and you allowing it to speak in your ear. You're allowing it to bring doubts into your ear. You're allowing it to bring a whole bunch of confusion to you. And then you look like this again. And you up under all of this. Crushed. And look, there you are, trying to do that again. Transactional. Because you don't have this central focus. Because you ain't got a close people and a central that's helping you build out that. Because without this, you can't function in this. You will never be able to function in this. This can't exist. It don't matter. It's not going to work. I don't care. It's ugly. It's not going to work. Because these things need to be dealt with inside of this in order for you to properly be able to manage this and build a table appropriately with the legs like this and not this. Okay? And I'm going to tell you, if you go, I'm going to tell you right now. I want you to go look at any one of those people that you follow. And I need you to listen to them closely. When you listen to them closely, they'll tell you which God that they serve. And some of you are thinking it's God. It's that. And that has a name too. You want me to say it? It's Mammon. Look it up. And you'll see it. I was looking at a product service-based business that they were making. I think they made $260,000 in a 24-hour period. But I need you to look closely at their symbolism. Does that remind you of a certain belief system? That's all I have to say. These people are sitting up there. I was even listening to a branding manager that was making some money, and I listened to what she had to say. And when I was listening to what she had to say, even she said, oh, she follows the law of that thing. And I said, because she watched the film that starts with an S that involves the law of that thing. And I was like, oh, that's her. What? That's her what? That's her God. A lot of these folks got one, they just ain't telling you who it is. And if you listen closely, they'll tell you exactly who that is. That's the central focus that they've built everything else around. Everything else around. But see, they don't tell you that straightforwardly. And here you are. You ain't serving no God. You ain't putting none of this into the alignment and agreement And for my kingdom folks that's supposed to be out here serving God, are you even sowing into how you gonna build something to this capacity with this amount of stuff and you ain't sowing no money into the Lord and Savior? And I'm not saying just go out here to the pastors that are doing this. Don't go to them pastors that's doing that. Don't go to them pastors that's doing that. I need you to serve the pastors that have an understanding of financial understanding. I need you to read some financial books that are biblical. And I need you to start sowing. Because even rich folks give into philanthropy. And as a child of the Most High God, you sow into the church. And I need you to research your churches. I need you to make sure that they are operating correctly. Don't go out here sitting up there to these. I'm talking about the ones that ain't sitting up there, that operating under there's two different forms of prosperity gospel churches, okay? There's the prosperity gospel church that says, give me $50,000 and your life's going to change. 50, 100 is like you're bidding at an auction. That church, don't ever give your money into that church. Okay? Don't do it. Give your money into the church that is understanding the word, aware of the word, balancing the word, and they can manage, but they understand that God determines your charitability. For it says in your word in Malachi 3:10, give ye into the storehouse, and so that I may have meat in mine house. That when you give unto God's storehouse, he will multiply you so that you have the ability to sustain and meet that. He will show you how to sustain it. He will show you how to meet that goal so that you are actually what? Operating under this table and not this table. Because you got these root system and he's going to cut them roots off. But a lot of people don't want to deal with this God because that God's going to cut them roots off. And guess what? When he starts cutting them roots off, they're going to hurt and they're going to look like this ugly red mess under here. That's what it's going to look like because he's going to start cutting them off. He's going to start going through all of that mess up under there, trying to cut them money root systems and cut your, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. So whatever it is that you was dealing with from your mama, from your auntie, from your what have you, it's affecting your money, but it's also affecting your life in every other area. You can't even make good relationships to build a community in order to be able to have a proper amount of money in order to be able to build that thing. Because you don't have the right built system internally in order to be able to help you to manage building this out. To get to that top level of the amount up there. You can't do that if you don't deal with this. Let's deal with this. We got to deal with this. But in order to deal with this, you got to operate like this. And guess what? I hate to break it to you. You see this wonderful line of numbers? It may take you that many years to get this straight. You can determine how long it's going to take. You really can. But you got to be willing to go through the process. You got to be willing to be processed. You got to be willing to let the process process you. And a lot of people get stuck between this level and this level and this level and this level because the process starts cutting things that start making things look like that. And it starts to look ugly. And it gets to be ugly as you're trying to go up because you're sitting up there following this. And you need to be following this. Or else you're going to look like this. Now let's go back. And that. Is it making sense? So my number one question is, who do you serve? And is that God that you serve the center of your life? Because if you rotate any of these other things, including this wonderful word right here, and put it in the place of that center, you're going to be sitting there looking like that and that. You hear me? Because you don't have this. And you're going to be like this. And you're going to be chasing like this. Am I making sense? I hope that I've made a lot of sense with this. I hope I busted something open with this. Because when it came to me, I was like, oh my God. It's bigger than you. So I hope all of this makes sense. I hope it blesses you. I hope that you got something from it and it's taking you through a process and that there are blessings in all of this. So until next time, much love, faith, peace, and blessings to you.